I remember talking to a client of mine that's just like super overwhelmed. He's struggling to get a sales team motivated and going. And they had some really good months that year. And then they had literally one bad month, like put this in this downward spiral where it was wasn't any one thing, but it was just this downward spiral where they couldn't close deals, and there was always like, oh, I'm working this one good deal, or this is bad, or that person didn't show up, and there was a lot of blame shifting happening in the sales organization. And you could just tell that the morale was low, and no matter how hard he tried, it was just like getting that morale back up after that bad month was really difficult. Looking around, he's like, Tim, I'm looking around at all of these different, hey, there's 7 different personality types for salespeople and 5 different, and he's like, dude, on top of managing the KPIs and understanding all of the different systems, and then keeping my boss happy, and then on top of that just doing all of these other things. Now I've got to memorize 7 personality types and motivate each person differently. And I was like, brother, don't make it more complex than it has to be. Humans are very, very simple in the way that we need to be motivated. Yes, there's different personality types and different ways that we're motivated, but I said you have to keep it very, very simple, because when you keep things simple, they get executed, and when you execute them well, you get results. And so I want to walk you through exactly what I shared with him that helped him transform their sales team. In fact, within 1 week of me talking to him about this, they had everything turned around, and in 2 months they had a record month, and that year they went on to have their biggest year in new business. So what is it that you can do to motivate your sales team, and what are some key leadership techniques for sales managers to use to keep their team performing at a high level? Well, I want to walk you just through 3 simple things that you can do to do this. Very, very powerful, very potent, and it's going to get executed. If you do this well and you do this with consistency, you're going to keep your sales team motivated, and they're going to produce at a very, very high level. But before I walk through that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click that bell, so every time I drop a new video, you're the first to hear about it. So number 1 is you have to understand your sales people's why. What is their goal? But don't just get the generic, yeah, understand your why, Simon Sinek, Tim, I've heard this before. You want to go into it on a deep level. Understand their why. Why are you here? What is your goal in life? And make them get specific. Don't just say, well, I want to make $200,000 a year. Why do you want to make $200,000 a year? Well, I've got kids that want to put them through private school. Great. Why do you want to put them through private school? Well, the school system here in Florida is horrible, man, and I want to just be able to give them a good schooling. Okay, and how long have you and your wife been talking about that? Oh, we've been talking about it for 5 years. You've been talking about it for 5 years, and you want to get your kids in a private school. How's that coming along with your goals? We're not really on track for that. Okay, what's it going to take for you to be on track for that? Now, all of a sudden, you understand that why on a deep level, but you can go even deeper. What else besides schooling? What else besides schooling, getting your kids in a private school that you need that $200K a year for? Well, my wife and I, we want to travel more. We want to be able to, when we take our trips, we want to be able to afford the luxury hotels. We want to be able to buy the nice dinners. We want to be able to, pay for, allow the kids to get good gifts on Christmas. Okay, so you want to have nice things. You want to be able to take those trips. You want to be able to afford the luxuries in life. Yeah, okay. How long have you and your wife been talking about these things for? Oh, probably since we've been married, we really want to do that. But, how committed are you to really getting that full life that you want and being able to take the trips and all that? Oh, well, I'm really committed, man. I know that I want something better than my parents had. So you can start to get different motivations. Maybe traveling is a big thing for them. And they say, hey, we've been talking about going to Cuba for the last 5 years, or going on a Europe trip. Don't go to Cuba. We've been talking about going to wherever, the Bahamas, England, wherever they want to go. You want to get to their why and why that's important for them. It could even be hey, I honestly, dude, I like nice watches. I want a nice car. I want to show status that has showed that I'm somebody important. Great. So this person's motivated by status. They wanted the freedom to take trips and do the luxury stuff with their wife, and they want to put their kid in private school. Now I have some deep motivators to motivate this person beyond the 200K. Come on, don't you want to make the 200K? Dude, I know, kind of having a rough morning. I've gotten in a fight with my wife. You want to understand their why on a deep level. Now, here's the thing, and number 2 is that you have to make them get specific about why it's important. And it sounds like I just went over this, but what I mean is that you need them to get specific and to start laying out those goals. You want to start having them lay out what are their personal, what are their professional, and what are their financial goals. Where do they want to be in 10 years? Where do they want to be in 5 years? And where do they need to be at in a year to hit those goals? Have them start laying those out. In fact, I would meet with them every 2 weeks to help them move their goals along in those 3 areas: personal, professional, and financial. Because not only are you now knowing their big someday why, you're making them get specific about it, then you're making them break it down into goals, so that where they have to be in 5 years, where they have to be at in 1 year, and then shoot, where do they have to be at this quarter, where do they have to be at this month, what do they have to be at this week to be on track. So when you start to be a part of helping them achieve all of their personal, professional, financial goals, they now become more committed, and you can motivate them on a much bigger level, because you're now tying their ultimate goals to today's activities, to today's motivation, to today's You need more than just like, hey, I need you to hit your KPIs, where your numbers are off. Like, there has to be a real tangible outcome in future tied to today's activities. And number 3, you gotta celebrate the wins. Our brains are wired to have a cue craving reward. That's any habit. Like, a cue could be like, I see donuts. Craving could be like, ooh, now I want a donut. Eating that donut, I've just got the reward of that donut. It's called cue, craving, reward. That's the way our brains are wired. So when you have any kind of win, either on the activity KPIs or result KPIs, you have to celebrate the wins, the small wins, every single day. You have to be reminded of the wins, because the win is the reward. It is the good feeling from doing a good job. There needs to be, hey, whoever does the most cold calls in one day, there has to be a win for that. Whoever gets the most meetings in one day, there has to be one for that. Hey, John, I saw that you got a lot of meetings, man. Great job on that. Great job on that. You have to have the win, because when you start attaching wins to your activity, it makes you want to do more of those activities. And we all know, as sales managers, as sales trainers, as entrepreneurs, when the activity KPIs are on par and they're up high, eventually the result KPIs will follow. So remember, the brain is a cue, craving, reward. So we want to start attaching your activities to the actual reward. So you're going to get them to start craving that reward. You're going to get them to start being addicted to getting the rewards, and over time that's going to be the actual results and the closed deals. So celebrate the small wins, the big wins, and everything in between. Now, obviously, you don't want to celebrate them too long, and you don't want to create a false celebration like, great job for showing up to work today, Johnny. Good for you. Like, no, get rid of Johnny. Johnny can't sell or close deals. But if it's a good salesperson and they're just in a slump, you need to remember, hey, this is a good salesperson. This is a great employee I have. This is a great team member that I have. They're going through a hard time now, and I need to get them out of that slump. And the way you do that is not by bringing the hammer down, but by lifting them up, encouraging them, reminding them that they are winners, and getting them back on that winning motivation track. Winning motivation track, not motivation. Anyways, this is Tim Dodd with the Tim Dodd Show, and I do have one more thing for you. I'm going to show you how to get lots of leads and bookings for your sales team. If you want them, you may not, you may already be full with leads, but if not, I have a link at the end. You can click and get a free guide. Doesn't cost you 1 penny. I don't make 1 penny off of that thing. You can get it, but before you do that, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you got value from this call. If you didn't, then don't worry about it. Again, that resource is below. You can click and get that free guide to get meetings, get those meetings warmed up for you so you can do 2 things, which is my goal for you, and that is you can sell more and scale more. This is Tim with the Tim Dodd Show. I'll see you on the other side.